So what we're going to do is 2010 higher level. So it's a continuation on from what we did, the 2015 one, the Pringles. But the difference this time is that there's a scoop taken out of it, and also the scale is a little bit different. So we'll start with the scale. The first thing is 250 divided by 5 will become 50. So again, what I do is good practice for the exam is just to mark out do the division and mark out the dimension that was there so that you don't get confused. So 500 becomes 100 and 750 becomes 150. And then radius 150 will become radius 30. Okay, now this radius here sometimes can cause a bit of confusion when we're drawing the two circles for the ellipse. So I'm not going to go near that circle for the minute. So if this is 150, so my minor axis is going to be 100, or the radius is going to be 50, and my major axis is going to be 75, or half of 150. So that's how I'm going to set my compass to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this lighter, just because we should have covered ellipse construction. So I'm just going to draw this with a normal compass, do a little bit lighter just so that it doesn't show up as dark on the page, and it makes it a little bit easier to see what's going on. So I'm not going to go near this smaller circle for the minute. I'm going to get the ellipse constructed, the outline constructed, and A, B, C, D constructed. But I'm not going to worry about them until I have the ellipse constructed. So we're going to set it to 50 first, or maybe we'll draw crosshairs. I'm just looking for a set square. Okay, so I think it's relatively small, but I want to have the full radius for drawing it. So actually, well, it can be tight enough. So I'm going to come up maybe, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a crosshairs here, and I'm going to come up maybe 80 millimeters from the base. Okay, so hopefully that's seeable. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is set my compass, or put the two marks here. So I'll put 75 this way. I suppose if you want to make it understandable, I'll go 50 this way. Okay, so I'll draw my minor circle first to 50. Okay, sounds fair. That seems to be fairly stable. And now I'm going to draw my other one of 75. Okay, so I'm just not sure from my visualizer, because there's a bar on it, whether that can be fully seen down the bottom. I don't think it can. I might just tilt it. I think that should be seeable. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mark point A, B, C, and D. Okay, because sometimes it helps to have those, as in which is the wide one. So if I put these two here are the 150, so that's D, and that's B, and then C is the one that's 50 millimeters from the center, and A is the same. Okay, so I'm going to do as normal. I'm going to split my my circle into 60 and 30 degrees. Or 12 pizza slices, as I say sometimes. Okay, so we have our splits, and then we'll come down from this side and across to meet it. Okay, the opposite here. And then on the bottom, instead of going down from the big circle, I'll come up. To come across like so. Okay, so I'll put a little dot right over where I want to sketch, just so that you can see for the video, and we'll draw that out outline heavy. So let's see, I was going to use a blue, but they used a blue for this. I don't have a black handy, but I'll use sort of a darkish purple. Okay, they used a blue for the inside, so I'll keep that the same. Okay. Okay, so I suppose one thing that I didn't mention there at the start is how did I know that was an ellipse? You should always read the question. It says the perimeter is an ellipse in plan. The reason I say that is the next question that came up in 2018, I think it was, it looked like an ellipse in plan, but the fact of it wasn't. It was actually a parabola in elevation. You'd extend it out to locate the view in plan. So always just double check which bit they're telling you. So we have that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw our outline there between A, B, C and D. So use a slightly lighter bluish colour. I'm not going to put the hidden detail lines. If you were doing this, what you could do is you could draw this as a lighter line at the start or a medium line, and then you come back and put the hidden dashes. I'm not, just because I'm using a marker. And the reason is when I do the division of line method, I don't know exactly where it's going to split. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to draw the elevation of what I know. So again, I'll just keep with my pencil for the minute. And I'm just going to draw a heavy line here. And then we want a gap of 50. Just make sure that that's exactly the same. Okay. So again, I'll use my blue. So there's D to AC. And back up to B. Okay, so we label again. So this is B, this is D, and this is A, and this is C. Okay, so there's one of them is in front of the other. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to use the division line method. So I'll go back to using my colour pens now. Okay, so I'm going to draw a random line here in this corner. It doesn't actually matter actually which corner I draw it, and I'm going to do one of the bottom ones because I'm not actually asked for an end view in this case. No, I'm not. Okay, so actually if we read the question, it says draw the outline, plan, elevation, hat, and then draw the outline, plan, elevation of the hole. So as we said, I've left the hole out for the minute, and even if I read the question, you can see that they sort of point out that that's the best way to do it. So I'm going to go my usual 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. That yellow was a little bit too light, being that it's a luminous one. So I'll go over it here. So if I join this one back to here. So you can see there when my set square slips, I'm going back to the starting point, or the starting one to reset it. Okay, so there's my various points. So I could do the same on all four sides, but again, the shape is symmetrical. So because the shape is symmetrical, we usually mark in generators on a green. So I'll use a green to highlight these points. Because the shape is symmetrical, I don't need to do it on every side. There's no harm in doing it on every side, but obviously it would just take a little bit longer. Okay, so what I have there is I have my generators. Now, today I'm not going to be lazy, I'm just going to draw them between the light blue lines for the minute. Okay, my purple is actually looking like a navy on the drawing. But just to make sure that everyone picked up, in fairness, from what I've seen, most people seem to have picked up what's meant to happen. Okay, now I'm a little bit inaccurate there. They should all look parallel. Okay, so this one is a tiny bit off. But overall it looks fine. Okay, it's not too bad. There's a tiny bit of inaccuracy there, maybe a tiny bit of inaccuracy, yeah, but that's to be expected, particularly when I'm using such thick pens. Okay, what I could have done is I could have double checked these distances. So if I look at that, that's nearly 90. So really I should have one at 18. That one looks pretty good. That one's probably a tiny bit off. That one's probably a good bit off, actually. And that one there could be a bit closer. That one's a little bit off. Okay, so again, the thickness of my pen isn't helping. Okay, so I could have double checked that. But anyways, overall, I'm happy enough with the method of what's done there. I'm actually happy that both of them are crisscrossing through this, which is probably the most important thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to number these. Okay, so I'm going to use a color pencil. 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, and 4 4. Okay, so 1 is on the line AD. I'm going to bring it up. There's 1. 2 is on the line AD. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and again, 1 is on the line. Okay, so critical that I have them. And I could do the same with 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Now in the last video I discussed how this isn't 100% the most correct way of indexing, but it's perfectly fine. So what you'll find is that if you bring those up, you'll find that they're crisscrossed on top of each other, or basically one is in front of the other. So again, there's no need technically, because it's a symmetrical shape. One is literally going to be in line right in front of the other. But I'll join 1 to 5, 2 to 6, or sorry, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and 4 to 4. Okay, now if I wanted at this stage, I could sketch in the top of that. Now, I'm not going to because of this curve. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to extend these out, and I'm going to locate this bit here. Okay, so in order to do that, in case anyone didn't get this in the last video, I just extend this on. So I'm just going to take 4, or sorry, that's 8 to 8. So I'll do 1 to 1. Okay, now one person as well actually extended on one of them, which solved the question, but should have extended on both. So you have to extend on both, even if you don't necessarily need it to use it. Sorry, to solve it. So 1 to 1 went there, and then it hit the edge of the ellipse here, and it hit the edge of the ellipse here. So a good reason is to do it in the order I did it there. It hits a little bit slower, but it means that it's less likely that you're going to make a mistake in terms of bringing up this point onto this rather than the point that's on the right line. So again, what I'll do is I'll extend on this, and then I'll just bring up the point that hit, and that tells me that there we go. Let me see if I have a dark, or maybe I'll use that purple. Okay, so that's that. So you can see how that comes out. So I'll just do the same thing with 2 and 2. So I'll extend it off. Again, I'm locating this point. That's my important point. And that's my important point. If 2 and 2 were extended on in this view, 2 and 2 must be extended on in this view. And then I'm bringing out this point here. That's where it finishes on there. That's where it finishes there. And now I have another 2 points here, and I have another 2 points there for my curve. So I'm just going to do 3 and 3, and 4 and 4 in one go. Speed me up a bit. Again, just being careful that I actually bring up the right points. Okay. So that one's going to be somewhere up there. That one's going to be somewhere here. Just extend it on. And it's actually going to be higher up than I would have thought, so I'll have to bring it up again. Okay, and that one was that one, which is fine. And then on this side, this is on the line 3 3. So there we go. And I forgot to extend 4 4 down the bottom side. There we go. So you can see there I have my various points for my curve, and the same on the other side. As I said, I might be a little bit inaccurate, but overall it's fine. Okay, the reason for the inaccuracy is because of the thickness of the pencil, and also really I should have double checked that these did split evenly. So while the division of line method should split it evenly. Sometimes depending on thickness of pen and also depending on how shallow the angle is, it may be a little bit inaccurate. And also if the set square moves, ideally you could actually use your adjustable to solve it. So what I could do is I could heavy this in, but for the minute I'm not going to, because I want to, or maybe actually I'll bring this up. So what one or two people forgot to do was I should take the points where them two crisscross as the exact points for sketching the curve. So if I bring that up, that point up, that's on the line 2, 2. That point there is on the line 3, 3. And that point there is on the line 4, 4. I have 4 points there upon which to sketch the curve. Okay, one or two people struggled with that the last day. So what we're going to do is sketch this in using a pencil rather than a pen, just because of the hole that's going to come in the hat. Okay, so the last bit now I forget and make sure I don't forget is to draw the circle in the middle. Okay, so it's radius 30. It's been scaled down, so be careful, that's actually the radius, not the diameter, so I don't need to half it again. So I'll put my 0 mark there and I'll put a dot for 30 and I'll draw that in heavy. So actually, I'm going to go back in a second here now. Okay. Now I nearly did what I just said someone else did the last day when I was standing up. I nearly forgot to extend these on this side. So while I solved the answer without actually having to extend this on, mainly because this is a symmetrical shape, there will be marks for finishing that off. So make sure that you don't forget to draw them. The reason I don't have to draw them up in elevation as well is because they're technically on top of each other. One is in front of 5, 5. Okay, so I now have the hole here for the hat. So what I have is a series of points now that I know of. So I know that this point here is, well, let's say there's 2 sort of points there. Okay, so again, depending on your accuracy, you probably draw it more accurate than me. So I have 1 point there at 1, 1 and 1 point there on 8. Make my number clear, 8, 8. So if I bring this one up, this is on 7, this one's on 6, this one's in 1, 1, this is on the center. Okay, so that's my center curve that I drew already. So that's where it starts and that's where it finishes. So there's basically where the purple line would meet it. So I'll just heavy that. Okay, so that was the light purple line that I drew. That's where it starts. Okay, and what I'll do now is I'll bring up this point. So this is on the line 1, 1. This one, that's there. We already brought that up. This one is on the line 6, 6, so there's that point. This one is on the line 7, 7, so there's that point. This one is on the line 8, 8. There's that point. This one is on the line 4, 4. Sorry. One. This is on the line. Oh yeah, sorry. So it's on this one. On the line 1, 1. This one is on the line 2, 2. This was on the line 3, 3. And then that's the last one there, and it's on the line there. Okay, so maybe I should have used different color pens. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3 point, there's 4 point, there's 5 point, there's 6 point, and there's the 7 point. Okay, so they're exactly where it touches there. So I probably should have used a different color instead of the red. But you can see now if I sketch all them together, they give me the shape for where it scoops out here. So obviously there's a hole in this hat or for her head, or maybe there's an additional bit that comes up through the top of it. Okay, but that's basically how I do it. So what I do is I literally, wherever 1, 1 is, I bring up that point and line, I land it on line 1, 1. It then hits 6, 6. So when I bring up this one, I landed on the line 6, 6, which was there. This one here landed on the line 7, 7. So when I bring it up, that's on the line 7, 7. So hopefully that's seeable from the question. And that's it completed then. We're asked to do a plane director, which we're not going to cover in this question. But I think that's draw the plan elevation of the hole. I think that's that completed. And we have nice done. And it's nice and heavy there. We still have our light line in here. So I suppose it is important there. You can see they have a light purple line there. So again, you can see I used a purple there. I will be expected to put that in and to sketch it in. even though technically it's been cut out of it. Okay.